Need some last-minute fantasy football advice? Then the boys at the Fade Route have you covered. Check out Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z every NFL Sunday, noon Eastern during the regular season. D and I give you our top 1, 2, 3 fantasy starts or green lights, and our top 1, 2, 3 fantasy sits or red lights. That's Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z every NFL Sunday, noon Eastern during the regular season. That's Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z. Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we've got a great show for you tonight.
Yes, we do.
Kyle Schwarber is set to be a free agent. Zack Wheeler is done. So does that mean the Phillies are done? And Anthony Volpe takes a seat. So we'll begin today's show. Oh my gosh, it's your favorite topic. It's the Browns quarterback situation.
I wore the right color.
And I just want to say that I had it. I had it last week on this very show where I said they are going to trade Kenny Pickett and roll with Dylan Gabriel and roll with Shedeur Sanders. And sure as shit, that's what they did. The Browns will not be carrying 4 quarterbacks as they send Kenny Pickett to the Raiders for a 2026 pick. They seem to be stockpiling 2026 picks. Shedeur Sanders followed up his good quarterback play with absolutely terrible quarterback play in the last preseason game where he was 3 for 6 for 14 yards and 5 sacks. Dylan Gabriel will be the backup to Joe Flacco. So, Z, which Browns quarterback would you like to talk about this week?
I believe I was correct as well. Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders, Watson. That makes 4, baby. They put him on They put him on PUP today. So yeah, they put him on PUP. They put him on PUP. They put him on PUP. They put him on motherfucking PUP. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up with the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Deshaun, we're gonna go ahead and put you on the PUP. I'm
sorry,
what?
Excuse me?
Can you say that in my good ear?
Oh God. But yeah, dude, have we we've said so much about this franchise, and it's not even week 1, and I'm fucking sick of talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Well, I think it's comical. You don't think it's comical?
It's not even funny anymore. It's not even...
I mean, how did you think this was going to play out? When you drafted Dylan Gabriel, when you drafted Shedeur Sanders, you already had the massage therapist on PUP, on IR, and you went and signed Joe Flacco.
Yep. You
traded for Kenny Pickett. What was the best case scenario when you think about it? What was the best coming out of the draft? What was the best case scenario?
It's the very definition of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. I think for financials,
but they had opportunity, right? You had opportunity to draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
you had opportunity to trade for quarterbacks. I mean, we saw Geno Smith go to Vegas. We saw Zach Wilson on the move. We saw quarterbacks move in the offseason. We saw Aaron Rodgers go to Pittsburgh,
The only thing that makes sense is that they're waiting for Deshaun Watson to get healthy because they made such a lucrative financial investment in him. Nobody's trading for him. You got to play him when he's healthy. You have to. You have no choice. Right. You invested guaranteed money in this. So this is very much a holding pattern. It feels like it. I mean, Andrew Berry, it feels like I'm just going to throw shit at the wall, and whatever sticks is what we're going to go with. Right? Yeah. And ideally for him financially, I think he was secretly hoping for Sanders and Gabriel outplaying everybody, and then of somebody calling for the veterans. So, which is still in the realm of possibility. I mean, Pickett's already gone. Huntley's released. Flacco, he could be available. You might still get the result you're looking for if you're Andrew Berry, if you're the Cleveland Browns. Now, you still have professionals on this team, and professionals play for pride. They're still going to show up. They're still going to, try and get theirs. But they've been kind of set up to fail by their organization. And Myles Garrett, you got to figure Myles Garrett was sold a bill of goods. You kind of figure that he was taken for a ride. Unless that ride was, and I said it months ago. We're going to find a way to get Stefanski out of here. Dion's going to be the coach, and we're going to roll. Like, that's the only thing that fucking makes sense. Because now there's allegations of Stefanski sandbagging Shedeur Sanders and providing better plays and better coverages for Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, stop.
Are you nuts?
Are you
out of your mind?
Stop.
Are you crazy?
Stop. I don't want to hear that.
Are you absolutely insane to be floating that? Kevin Stefanski's coaching for his job. If it ever found out that he was giving preferential treatment to one rookie over another, fucking forget it, man. He's done. And then, we've been talking so much about Shedeur Sanders. We're talking, putting so much air into a fifth rounder. A guy who had a good game, a bad game. The last time we put this much into a quarterback who did so little but had so many sycophants around him was Tim Tebow. Except Shedeur Sanders, Tim Tebow had the leadership factor, the air quote leadership factor, because he put John 3:16 on his eye black. Shedeur Sanders isn't looked in that same light. He has better intangibles in terms of football intangibles. Like, he can play more. Shedeur seems to be a better football player than Tebow. Better quarterback than Tebow.
I don't know what you were watching. At least Tebow was running forward. This guy has got the Zach Wilsons and
as a
backward.
tight end. And his last resort.
Running
shirtless in the rain. That's how I remember Tim Tebow.
He won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was
How did he do the next week?
Reality set in, but I think you're telling me that Tim Tebow couldn't play now?
No.
No.
I'm not even going to let you finish your sentence. No.
Tim Tebow was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson.
No. No.
He wasn't developed.
You're doing a disservice to your own quarterback by saying that.
He wasn't developed. He wasn't planned for. They tried to put him into a regular offense, and that's not what his strong point was.
Which proves my point. He's a gadget player. He's not an NFL quarterback. Like, this guy, say what you will about Shedeur Sanders, it was a professional offense. He ran it. The second week, not so much. That's the result. That's going to happen.
I would disagree. The thing I'd like to hang my hat on, if I want to talk about a Browns quarterback, is I realized over the weekend that Shedeur Sanders is not a professional quarterback in the National Football. That's what I learned. You can't run backwards. You can't pat the ball. You've got to be able to deliver darts on a dime. You're not doing that, sir. You're not. He's not athletic enough to do what Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Fields do, where you can dance around, or Mahomes, and then fire a strike downfield or launch the ball 60 yards. He can't do that. He doesn't have that athleticism. He's a pocket passer. He can't roll out. Doesn't look like he can decipher a defense. And again, I don't know if I think maybe it's too much for him, but there's a tape on him now, and that's what happens. They got a tape on you. They know what you can do, what you can't do. I mean, I think he still starts 3 games, but I don't think his future is the National Football League. I think he probably would be a good USFL player, but I don't think he's a pro.
He gets he's going to get as much length. He's going to get as many opportunities as Anthony Richardson does. He's a project.
Wow, you think so? See, I see at least Anthony Richardson.
Because his last name is Sanders, he's going to get more of a...
Richardson could throw the ball. I mean, he could throw the ball deep. He's got an arm. He's a big dude. He could take shots. He's just, he's not in shape. He doesn't know the playbook very well. He's a guy that I think we can revisit in 2 or 3 years, like a Trey Lance. I'm not getting that vibe from Shedeur. So are they going to retire Shedor's jersey now? How does that work? I'm just curious if that works. No, I mean, I think we both agree that the Browns' 2026 quarterback is not on the roster. Right?
Yeah, no.
Right.
It can't be.
So,
no, actually, it is. It's Deshaun Watson, provided that he's healthy. And therein lies the problem. Therein lies the issue. Right there.
I don't know about that, but fantasy football drafts will start springing up this weekend and next week as we approach the start of the season. Sozy, who are your boom and bust players? Who do you love and who do you hate?
At this point, I hate the concept of fantasy football, to be perfectly honest with you.
Really?
I do.
Why is that? Why?
Well, for one, I believe that it diminishes your personal fandom of a specific team. Number one. Number two, it also builds into our newest segment, fans behaving badly. So where we're harassing players because they didn't get you the necessary fantasy points. So I feel like the gambling aspect of it, because it is gambling at the end of the day, and the accessibility is a major problem. We do it for the show. Absolutely. I understand how fantasy football works. I can give you these things, but generally speaking, down on fantasy football. Haven't done it in years. Outside of just picking games. No interest. Absolutely no interest.
So for me, fantasy football offers a new way to watch the game, a new element of fun, where I can watch the Baltimore Ravens play, hope Lamar Jackson does well, but at the same time, I'd like, if I have the opposing defense on my fantasy team, I want to see some sacks. I want to see some interceptions. I still want my team to win, but at the same time, I'm rooting for different players and different things to happen. And it's fun. I have fun with it. I don't take it too seriously where I'm throwing things at my TV, where I'm cursing obscenities, where I'm DMing players. I don't do any of that.
No.
I have fun with it. And to me, it puts me in a position where it's silly to say it, but it's like, oh, I'm a GM. How would I handle this? Like, who would I start? And again, especially with fantasy football, more than probably any other fantasy sport, anything can happen. Anybody could win. You don't have to know football. You don't have to have any particular talent to win in fantasy football. Now, fantasy baseball is a completely different game. That's very serious. That you have to know players. You've got to know percentages. You've got to know averages. You've got to know lineups. You've got to know, win and loss ratios. That's a lot of work because it's every day. Every day. I'm in a daily. I'm not a daily. In a weekly, and it's every day. And it's and when I play fantasy baseball, I find myself getting frustrated at players because in those situations, like Greg Olson, he's playing every day. He doesn't get hurt. He plays every day. And he'll go 0 for 4, 0 for 5. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Where in fantasy football, if Josh Allen, doesn't run for any touchdowns, I mean, I want him to, but I'm not mad at him if he doesn't. Like, if he's on my team, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Like, there's more of a team aspect to it. Like, there's a lot of other things going on.
Consider yourself one of the more emotionally mature fantasy football fans.
Yeah, I mean, I play in a league with men that are older than I am that have been playing since the late 80s. And to the point where they were looking in the newspaper to get the numbers for the games every week to find out who won and who lost. Back when like Dan Marino was like a big quarterback, or Jim Kelly. And these guys are a group of friends, and they've been friends since they were like kids. And even like a couple of them fly up from Florida to just do the draft, to just see everybody, say hi. And it's a live draft. You're not allowed to do it online. It's all... You got to get the name and put it up on the board, and we drink, we rent a room, we share stories, we draft and make fun of each other, and it's fun. And then in another league, I have a league with my friends where there's some people in there that know a lot about football, and there's some people that don't know that much about football, but it's the camaraderie of it. I would never join a league where I didn't know anybody. I mean, I played in a league at work one time, and I won, but it wasn't as fun. There's no banter. There's no joking around. It's just like, I'm just, setting my lineup. I'm not trying to trade people. I'm not trying to screw people over in trades. It's like, it's you. So I think it all comes down to, you have to have fun with it. If you take it too seriously, then I can see how it's a downer.
Yeah, it's a completely obsessive habit. It's an It's an obsession.
Yeah.
That's
for sure,
dude. If you're not fast on the waiver wire, you lose your god.
That's right.
That's it. And forget. I played fantasy basketball once in high school. I was in first place at the beginning of the season. I'm like, this is a lot of fucking work. I'm done.
For sure.
And then I stopped logging in. I stopped, Kelvin Cato was my starting center. Kelvin Cato was my starting center the entire season because I didn't log in to change it. Because I didn't care. After the first month, no. Dude, I didn't even check my record. After the first month, I'm like, oh shit, I'm in first place. That's awesome. I'm like,
I didn't play for the first time. I've never played fantasy basketball or fantasy hockey.
Never done hockey.
I picked up baseball the year before COVID, and I won. I've won 3 times in fantasy baseball, and that's through my work league. And then football, I started 2008, 2009, and yeah.
I mean, but the level of the attention to detail, the level of obsession that you need to do. I mean, I'm doing Mrs. Z and my oldest stepson, we're doing a 4-team fantasy Premier League team, and that's a little bit easier to manage, but it's still you have to constantly be up on it. You have to make sure your waivers are in. You have to make sure that you're set and ready to go. The one difference between Premier League, Fantasy Premier League, and other leagues is that if you have a player that doesn't post or that doesn't do that well, they'll sub in somebody from your bench. So that's the one. Nice. Yeah, so it's like that one little difference, because we've all had that where we thought somebody was going to start and then shit. And that's a gut busting feeling. But, I'm just down on the whole thing, especially with how it makes people feel, how it makes people interact with the players as if the players owe them something. You're a fantasy owner. You don't own the person in real life. You're not the owner of the team. Some people take it too far, like you said, and the taking it too far is what really sours me on it. But for the nature of what we do, sure, I'll pick red light and pick green light. We'll do that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But the bigger picture stuff, I just cannot see myself doing. But as far as guys who are surprises, who could be surprises, I mean, you got to start with Jaden Higgins at the Texans. You have to steer it back to the actual question. He's in a good position. Tank Dell is out. He's going to be on the other side of Nico Collins. So you got an opportunity there. Garendo. And anybody who backs up Christian McCaffrey is an automatic pickup.
Well, Brian Robinson is
Brian
the backup
Robinson's
now,
an automatic pickup. You know, Terry McLaurin. Now he's back to relevancy now that he got his contract, right? You still, you have a guy like Mims in Denver. He started to get better last year as Bo Nix started to feature him a little bit more. As the relationship matures, maybe he gets more targets. Maybe he becomes more fantasy relevant. A guy like Braylon Allen becomes more relevant in fantasy because they've changed the offense to be a more run-heavy offense. And Breece Hall wasn't all that good last year. He was okay. It wasn't great.
They haven't given him an extension, and they haven't been featuring him, so it doesn't... I don't know what he's going to be this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got... and some, like, really crazy, like, if you're making this move, if you're doing this, that means your season's fucked, right? So even I can see like a guy like Riley Leonard ending up with some level of fantasy like competency. I can see him having some level of impact because Daniel Jones, as we know, is injury prone. Anthony Richardson is injury prone. The Colts have weapons, right? They have Pittman Jr. They have, they have Mo Alley Cox. They have guys that are professionals. So if you need like a bye week cover or something like that, all of a sudden 2 injuries, Riley Leonard becomes a guy, I mean, look at Aiden O'Connell, right? Aiden O'Connell last year had a little bit of juice going. Now he's got a broken wrist. In Vegas, that if Geno goes down, that's Kenny Pickett now. Like, you have a bunch of scenarios where that could happen. JJ McCarthy. What is JJ McCarthy? Who is JJ McCarthy? We don't know. He's a question mark to me. Like a lot of people,
they traded their backup quarterback.
They did. Like. Sam Howell's on the Eagles now because they. Funny thing, the Eagles waived DTR. So what the fuck was the point of that trade? The Browns no longer have Pickett, and the Eagles no longer have DTR. Wow. Wow. Guys. Just a bang up fucking job there. Good. Well done. Just golf clap all the way around. But, I mean, depth players, at this point in time, like, you look at a guy like Keon Coleman could have some value depending on how he's featured. Bigsby in Jacksonville, especially if Etienne gets hurt. Like, you have guys that
guy 2-2.
Yeah. So you have guys that could have value. Right now, they don't have as much, but maybe they're a draft and stash in the later rounds. So, I mean, that's the thing. Your specific league is also going to dictate your strategy. Because if you have guys like we've played in a couple leagues together way back when, and you just had like depth. All the alleged good players were gone. So now you're just trying to figure out, like, all right, who are my sleepers? Who is that guy that, may not have a big featured role now, but could later on. So, I mean, that's also part of the strategy of fantasy football. But, yeah, I mean, the lesser known guys, or even like a guy like Shaheed in New Orleans. Yeah, Spencer Rattler's your quarterback now, but they do feature him out of the backfield sometimes. So you look for those Swiss Army knife guys. Like a guy like Cordell Patterson used to get you a lot of points too for that kind of situation. So yeah, at this point in time, just be creative and just kind of see and kind of try to speculate as far as who could possibly be, that guy that has a surprising fantasy season.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, kind of down on Jonathan Taylor. Not really feeling him this year. I'm liking Tyreek Hill. I don't know why everybody's so speculative against him. I mean, he's still one of the fastest guys in the league. They're going to throw the ball. That's what they're going to do. I don't know how long Tua's going to be in there for, but I'm also optimistic with Zach Wilson in that offense. I think Josh McDaniels could teach him not Josh McDaniels. What's his name?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels could teach him how to play quarterback in the Dolphin system. I like Bo Nix. Big on him. I like the Denver defense. I also like the Giants defense. I think Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, I think those guys are going to have really good seasons. I worry about the Texans running game. You know, Joe Mixon's going to start out missing the first 4 games. He's got a lingering ankle issue. I don't see that coming around for him. I think Omarion Hampton, I think he's going to get some good runs in that Charger offense. And don't sleep on Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, man. They're going to be potent. So I think those are guys that I think are going to be really good. You know, the thing about fantasy football is it's all luck. You know, we don't have any insight into what's going to happen. What people don't realize is that, you know, offenses have certain plays that call on certain players to score, to do well. Your goal line is your goal line. You know, we'll find out week 1 and week 2 what teams are going to do on the goal line. You know, it could be Josh Allen calling his own number. It could be Ray Davis coming off the bench, and you know, the same thing
for the Giants could end up being a touchdown vulture.
He's a touchdown vulture, right? And we don't know. You know, you're gonna find out, and that's the thing is like a lot of people think that, oh, you know, my guy, he started off slow, but I think he's gonna pick it up. It's like, well, it's the offense. This is what they're featuring, and this is what they're doing. So, you know, especially if they're winning, they're not going to change it up so that we're going to call Jacoby Myers' number more than Brock Bowers' number. It's not really how it works. You know, offenses are designed to treat certain players. Also, look for players that are in their contract year. George Pickens is a guy who kind of shit the bed in Pittsburgh, but this is his time to play with Dallas, to play with Dak, and I'm sure he's going to do all he can to play 16, 17 games because he wants to get paid. You know, we saw that with Terry McLaurin last year. We saw that with Jamar Chase last year. You have that offense coming back where you would think that their defense is awful. They're going to be throwing. They're going to be throwing a lot. Now, is this the year that Higgins gets it more than Chase? I don't know. We're going to find out. But yeah, all in all, I'm not down on it like you are. I think sports brings people together. I do agree that there are a bunch of jerks out there that kind of ruin it for everybody else. But I think the most important thing with fantasy football is you got to have fun with it. You got to have fun. If you take it too seriously, then it's lame. It sucks. You know, you want to have fun. You want to joke around with your friends. It's a reason to text somebody you haven't seen in a long time. It's a reason to, you know, sit down and watch a game with somebody that you know you don't always sit down and watch a game with. So it'll be fun.
And then to go back to the point that you were making about teams and offenses, and eventually, you know, they run through, and, you know, teams that seem to be dynastic eventually just kind of tail off. So, like, a team like the Chiefs, they've been so good for so long and so prolific, you kind of have to expect a downturn at some point. Everybody's getting older. Like, Kelsey's getting older, Mahomes is getting older. That ankle and foot never seem to get better. So, you know, at what point? Like, we've been saying that Mahomes feels like he's been slipping for the past 2 or 3 seasons. So, like, is this the year? Like, you know, without fail, there's always a guy who you think, okay, he's a solid pick, solid quarterback, solid whatever, and then just completely falls off. You know, right. That's the nature of sports. That's the nature of life. You know, you're only in your prime for so long, and then boop, you just drop.
Want to get your business in front of real sports fans? The Fade Route with D and Z reaches over 1,000 listeners every month. We drop fresh episodes every week and stay active on social media so your brand doesn't just get heard, it stays top of mind. Local, loyal, and ready to spend. That's our audience. Are you ready to be part of the in crowd?
Yes!
Let's talk about how we can increase your foot traffic or get people to visit your website. Email us today and or message us on our socials so we can find the best packages for you. You can hit us up at faderoutemail@gmail.com and find us on our socials at Fade Route Podcast. Time to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
But speaking of a guy who just dropped from his prime, maybe he never had a prime, who knows? Stud Yankee shortstop Anthony Volpe was given a break on Sunday and Monday as the Yankees finished their series and the season with the Red Sox, and they started their series with the Nationals. Aaron Boone said Volpe is still their shortstop, and they will get him back out there and insert him. He is playing tonight. He's hitting .208, leads the majors in errors, though. So, where do the Yankees go from here?
Yeah, so I think he's a defensive liability. So at this point, I've got to start weighing my options, and I kind of understand what Boone was saying. It's like, man, he's our shortstop, but we got to be ready to go into another direction. We've got to get somebody else ready to play shortstop because, you know, one of the reasons why they lost to the Dodgers in the World Series was terrible fielding. And, I mean, this guy, I mean, I'm wondering, on Saturday? On Saturday, he threw the ball so far over Goldschmidt's head. I'm wondering if he knew it was a bad throw when he fielded it, when he let it go, or when he let it hit the gate or fence in the back. Like, it's like, dude, we're not asking you to do much here. Just field the fucking ball and throw it to first base. Are you Rue Baker? Like, what's happening here? So, to me, I totally get what Boone's doing. We need to have a backup plan because come October, I can't trot you out there for 9 innings. I might pull you in the 6th or pull you in the 5th. I've got to be ready to put a defensive shortstop out there. Also, a guy who can make contact. Motherfucker strikes out a lot. And that's the other thing. So I get what Boone's doing. I don't think this guy is going to be the Yankees shortstop for the future. I think we learned that this year. But as of right now, we got to figure out how we're going to win games in September and October.
I mean, the alternative right now is Jose Caballero. Caballero leads, I think, the American League in steals, if not the entire league, the entire major leagues. So you have
the
that
guy they got from Tampa.
The guy they got from Tampa.
Yeah, he leads the league in steals.
Yeah, so, I mean, he brings something to the table. He's primarily a shortstop, but they've used him as a Swiss Army knife. And when the Yankees have used him as a Swiss Army knife, he hasn't been great. So I think you need to kind of settle him into a position, and why not? Shortstop seems to be as open as any other position. As far as Volpe's a change of scenery guy. I think eventually it becomes a situation where it's no longer tenable in New York. Management can't keep defending him, and they refuse to send him down. I understand that the Yankee farm system is such that there's nobody there. I get it. I understand. But for this kid's own good, 10 days in Scranton could be
Shapes
beneficial.
Shapes you up.
And that's
so
where
you think it's a Sonny Gray situation.
I just think that it was too much too soon. He was projected a year. He was expected to be in the majors a year later than he actually was. So, but you couldn't deny him out of spring training. He was doing that well. Now, the irony of all things is he won a Gold Glove in his rookie year. So that tells you all you need to know about Gold Gloves.
Yeah,
this guy has a Gold Glove. Somebody, I forget who it was. It wasn't John Boy, but one of those social media platforms interviewed Chuck Knobloch about Anthony Volpe's struggles, and that's all you need to know if you're a Yankee fan of a certain age. If you're being lumped in and compared to Chuck Knobloch, that's a problem. That means position change, because Chuck Knobloch went from second base to left field. and then to DH when they got Matsui. So, at what point does it become psychological? You wonder. Beyond physical, beyond mental. At what point is it just a psychological hurdle that he cannot overcome? There was a ground ball. I forget what day it was, but there was a runner on second. You check the runner, you throw to first. It's a pretty standard baseball play. Some bitch feels the ground ball on one knee, flips it to Jazz. The guy was like 1 foot off the base. He stepped back on the base, runner's safe, and they don't get the force play at first. Now you have 2 runners on.
Saturday. I think that was Saturday.
It was also Saturday? But so. Boone has the temerity to say, that could be a really heads-up play. In what sport? In what universe? No. It's never a heads-up play. Come on. And that's kind of the problem. It's the symptom of the bigger problem, which is the fact that you have a bunch of clueless putzes running this team. So, Yankee fans aren't going to like this, but you were talking about getting a defensive replacement. IKF was there, man. Who would you rather have at shortstop late in the games? Start Volpe. Okay, start Volpe. He's got a better bat than IKF. Put IKF in. IKF can feel the fucking ground ball. Right. IKF has gold gloves at multiple positions. Right. So he's pretty friggin' good. You can do worse than Isaiah kind of Verleffer with the glove. The bat's a different story. But you had the opportunity, you missed it, and now you got to pay for it. If you're unwilling to bring in somebody to push him, then you're stuck with him. Unless you trade him as sort of, a headache for headache trade. Right? Like, I've been saying that for years with Jeff McNeil, and Jeff McNeil is finally starting to hit like the guy that won the batting title. It's like, at some point, guys just wear out their welcome and become trade chips. They become change of scenery guys in hopes that you can send them someplace else. But I mean, Volpe's still only 24. Like, he's still relatively young. If he worked on his defense, preferably in the minors, where the pressure is lower, you may still have something. But to keep running him out there every single day and defending him to the end of the earth is doing you no favors. It's doing him no favors. So, where do the Yankees go? Right now, nowhere.
Yep. Totally agree with that. But across town, the Mets are playing a key series against the Phillies, who will be without ace Zack Wheeler for the future, as a 35-year-old has thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. Now, the injury says he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. But does this sink the Phillies season, and what does this mean for Wheeler this year or next year?
Well, it sucks for Zack Wheeler. He finally, in his later years, came into the potential that the Mets thought he had when they traded Carlos Beltran for him. Thoracic outlet syndrome messes you up because you can't get the grip on the ball because you can't feel the ball. It's just tingling, right? And we've heard it from Jeremy Bonderman. Matt Harvey had it. You have a few guys who are still pitching with it. So successful thoracic outlet surgery, you can make it back to the bigs. And everybody has made it back to the bigs, but you're not the same. You don't have that touch. You don't have that feel.
Can't finish.
No. Look at Steven Strasburg. Steven Strasburg also had it in one of his myriad of injuries. So, it sucks that potentially this is going to sink his career. Because nobody's, very few have ever been the same. And nobody's been better when they get back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think this sinks the Phillies season. I think this really finishes them for next year, too. One of the things they had going for them was they could bang the baseball, which they do. But they had 2 guys two guys that could pitch and could shut you down. And that's not the case this year. Nola has been really terrible. And then Wheeler now is gone. So there is nobody. I mean, they have Ranger Suarez, but he's more of a 3 than a 1 or a 2. And it's not going to get it done. Their bullpen is awful. So it's like you're awful, then you hand it off to awful. And you're just not going to score enough runs in and out of every game, especially when you're playing good teams like the Mets or, when you're playing good teams like the Dodgers. Like, we know they could bang with the Dodgers, but now you can't pitch with the Dodgers, man. So it's unfortunate, but, that's what happens when you throw the ball the way you throw the ball. So I'm saying that not only is Wheeler done for this season, I don't see him, like you said, being the pitcher that he was. On another note, I think this sets the Phillies back because now you got to go start over. You're going to have to get two new guys, develop them, and I don't know if you're going to even be able to get Schwarber to come back.
Well, we'll get to Schwarber in a second, but they still have Christopher Sanchez, despite his outing last night against the Mets. Had an all-star season. He was a snub, but he's had a very good season. Suarez has been kind of a middle-of-the-road kind of guy. When Nola and Wheeler were right, Suarez was your number 4. Now he's slotted into your number 2. That becomes a major issue. And now Jesus Luzardo, who you were hoping could somehow regain his form from when he was, dealing for Oakland and Miami, he hasn't been the guy you hoped. Now you're relying on a guy like Taijuan Walker to be your 5th or swingman out of the bullpen. I've seen Taijuan Walker. When he's good, when he's on, he's very good. But when he's not on, he's a very hittable pitcher. So at this point in his career,
who's that?
Taijuan Walker.
Oh yeah. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So more than likely, he'll be a swingman out of the bullpen in the playoffs. Then you have Kirkering and Strammer, pretty good. Alvarado, I don't think is eligible for it. I believe he had the PED suspension, so I think he's ineligible. Out. Yeah, so right. You now have Duran, who you got from Minnesota, who's good. He's good. So you have 3 guys out of the bullpen who you can kind of trust. Romano, they just put him on the IL. They got rid of Joe Ross after last night. David Robertson's David Robertson, like 87 years old. But
terrible. He looked like shit last night. He can't finish pitches either.
No,
he can't. He doesn't bend his back and throw anymore. He's just like he's all arm now. All arm.
And it's it's to the point where that curveball doesn't break the way it used to. So, are they done with that lineup? You can't totally count them out. Like they can put a scare into a team. They can take a short series. You can't really say with any degree of certainty that they can win a 7-game series with that rotation. No. Now, what's available out there for them? What are they willing to do? Maybe next year's Andrew Painter. Like maybe that's the year that they go to their stud. Or perhaps they include their stud in a trade. I don't even know who would be available. Like who is an ace that you could possibly pry off a team? I really don't know. That would have been like a guy like Garrett Crochet would have been really good for them this year. But the Red Sox beat them to the punch. Next year, who's to say who's available? But you got to figure that with their offense and what they have, they'll be fine. They'll still be in the mix. Now it gets harder. It for sure does, but they're still going to be in the mix. This team without Wheeler next year, you move on from Nola, you reinforce the back end of the rotation. That's still good enough to be a wild card team, if not challenge for the division.
I love your optimism. Well, like we were talking about, Phillies leadoff hitter Kyle Schwarber might be batting .247 this year, but he has 45 home runs and was a candidate for MVP earlier this season. Kyle is a free agent after this season and will likely attract a bidding war for his services. Could you see Schwarber becoming a member of the Red Sox or the Yankees next season?
247, which is an improvement, as we know, because he There's been a couple times where he has approached or gone below the Mendoza line. So, could he? Sure. Will he? No. The Philadelphia Phillies are going to make sure that he does not go anywhere. He's only 32. Think about that. So he's still got a few good years. A few really good years. And if they can lock him up, which I feel like they could, they remain in contention. That's part of the plan, right? In order to stay afloat, in order to stay relevant in the National League East, in order to stay relevant in the National League wild card, he's critical. He's absolutely critical to your success. You have a guy like Alec Boehm, who made the All-Star team this year, but is generally kind of meh. Your outfield is nothing really special, right? Harper's Harper. Real Muto's Real Muto. Trey Turner's still a really good player. The window's not closed yet. And if you move on from Schwarber, or if you don't match what some of these other organizations are willing to offer, probably, because we all know that Brian Cashman covets Kyle Schwarber. For years, he was trying to figure out a way to get him to the Bronx. Red Sox beat him to it. Now, he didn't play well. He didn't play particularly well for the Red Sox. So, maybe that's something. Maybe he won't revisit that kind of situation. Who knows? Like, maybe that kind of sticks out for him. An interesting. If he was willing to play the outfield, Houston. You stick him out in left field in Houston, him, Alvarez, that's all of a sudden pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting scenario. But, yeah, he's found a home in Philly. I really can't see him moving on. I can't see the team moving on. So, I think he's just going to use those other organizations to drive up the price, and he's going to stay pretty comfortable with a much bigger paycheck in Philly.
Yeah, I disagree. I think the window is closed in Philly. I do. Nick Castellanos batting 180s last 15 games. Harper's a year older. Ramuto's a year older. What makes you think that you're all of a sudden going to get back into competing with the Braves and the Mets and the Marlins, who apparently are good? I think it's time to, start looking for the future. You're going to need pitching. Obviously, Bryce Harper's not going anywhere and Trey Turner's not going anywhere, but I think there's value in Real Muto. There's value in Castellanos. And, like I told you, the move would have been to get Mike Trout to Philly, and they missed on that. So now, I don't see a situation where it's worth paying him what he's going to ask for. He's going to ask for the sun and the moon and the stars. And, you are still number 2 or number 3 in that division now because you don't have pitching. You don't have starting pitching. So what good is it if I have these guys that can bang the ball? I can't stop anybody from scoring.
Well, look at the Mets. Let's take a real good look at the Mets.
Got Harrison Bader playing center field.
Right, exactly. Which underscores that they missed on a guy like Dominic Brown. He was supposed to be the future, right? Dominic Brown was not the future. So Odubel Herrera, I believe, also played for them. Nope. No. So they've missed on some prospects. But this division is still winnable because the Mets are so wildly inconsistent and so wildly underachieving. They can't put it together. Like last night, I was there with the fam, and they managed to finally.
Tommy Pham was with you? You were there? Tommy Pham was there?
He threatened to fight
me.
It was weird. It was like, I was like, dude, you invited me. Why are you swinging on me? What is this? It's terrible. Oh, never change, Tommy. Never change. But, yeah, like, the Mets put together a double-digit game. And they only allowed 3 runs. Like, that's an anomaly these days. The Mets can't get length from their starting pitching. They can't get consistent offense. And their bullpen has been crap. That this mega bullpen, this monster bullpen, hasn't been that good. Helsley in particular has been awful. So the Phillies can absolutely compete with that. So you have some guys that are not going to be on this roster next year, but David Stearns is not going to go in. He's not going to go all in for like the superstar player. He's going to get some guys. He's going to piece together this patchwork kind of situation, which is what kept Milwaukee afloat. And then dealing off the big name players like the Corbin Burnses of the world, he reinforced everything. So this Met team is going to have a youth movement coming sooner rather than later. And the Phillies can compete with that. The Braves situation is all about health. The only reason why the Marlins are where they are is because the Braves could not stay healthy.
You're going to catch me a Marlin.
Oh, no. But that's the thing. It's like, I expect the Braves to be back next year. Now, what capacity, we'll see. But, my prognostication on the Phillies isn't as grim as yours. So I think they hold on just a little bit longer. And I think Schwarber on a higher annual value, shorter term deal, maybe an opt out, like there's something that could be done there. Because again, you're negotiating with a 32-year-old. Realistically, he's not going to get a 13-year contract. You're not paying him till he's 45. Right?
No.
So maybe 7. Maybe 7.
Yeah, I'm thinking he wants 8 years, $400 million.
Somewhere in that range. 7, 8 years. You build in an opt-out. You can work with that. You absolutely can work with that. I don't know about $400 million, but you can certainly work with that. I don't necessarily know if he's... Yeah, I don't know if I could pay him more than Bryce Harper. I don't know. I just don't know. Is that going to be a wedge? Is that I want Harper money? But you ain't Harper.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's looking to get. Listen, he can honestly say that he's one of the best leadoff men in Major League Baseball with 45 home runs. I mean, he's a problem. Dude's a problem. So
he's a leadoff hitter in the way Aaron Judge is a center fielder. Out of necessity. Right. He's there when he needs to be. Right now, Trey Turner's in the leadoff spot.
They don't have to bet him first. They don't have to bat him first.
No, they don't.
They're not batting him first tonight?
No. Turner is... Turner's been leading off the past few games.
Okay.
So they're going to a more traditional approach.
Yeah.
Oh.
Traditional. Helsley just gave up a bomb to Harrison Bader.
God fucking damn.
Tied the game.
I knew. Fucking son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
A fucking bomb.
Yeah, of course it was Harrison fucking Bader.
For all you grill masters, green thumbers, DIY aficionados, and home repair heroes in the Richmond, Virginia area, if you're looking for personal service quality products and a convenient shopping experience, then look no farther than Thacker Ace Hardware in Colonial Heights. Owner Don Rackley and his team of local experts have everything you need to tackle every project around the house. I'm talking Benjamin Moore paint, Milwaukee and Craftsman power tools, plumbing, electric, hardware, the works. For you green thumbers, their nursery department is top notch, and I wouldn't be me if I didn't mention the grills. They have Weber, Blackstone, Big Green Egg, Traeger. I want one of everything. Give them a call today at 804-766-4223 and see how they can assist you. Or swing by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. That's Thacker Ace Hardware, 804-766-4223, or swing by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. Thacker Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Well, speaking of tradition, another NBA veteran has decided to walk away, as John Wall has decided to retire. How will you remember John Wall?
Who?
Thank you. Exactly. But go ahead.
I mean, it just never was. Like, it never came to fruition. I mean, he was a fantastic high school and college player. His college years, well, he had one of the best college basketball teams ever. For a 6'3" guard, he played like he was 6'7". He can run the length of the court, go around his back. He could dish, he could get to the basket. Just dude couldn't shoot. He just couldn't shoot. I mean, he was under 30%. I think he was around 30% for his career from three. And then really outside of being able to go to the basket and lay the ball up, he just wasn't much of a shooter. He shot less than 50% from the field. So it's just unfortunate. I wish he was better. I was looking forward to his career, and he really just robbed the Wizards. Like, they paid him tremendous amounts of money, and there were years where they paid him not to play. They're like, here's X amount of dollars, just don't sit at the end of the bench. We just can't do this anymore, you know? And it's a shame. I would have liked to see how a healthy, good John Wall would have fared in the NBA.
34 years old, and he's done. That's all you need to know. 34 years old. Yeah, I'm not going to remember John Wall at all, to be honest with you. 5-time All-Star, 19 points per game, 9 assists per game for his career. Like, not great. Not great. Okay. He's okay. What we're going to remember him for, the fact that he and Bradley Beal were some of the most mid players of all time. And that the Wizards look like fucking fools because they hitched their wagon to those two guys and got nothing out of it. They got ugats out of that. And then they went and dealt off Bradley Beal, and they somehow got even less. So, you know, you're going to remember, I would argue, you're going to remember more about the mismanagement than about the actual player. Because, like you said, like, there are times where it's like, just go over there. Just go. We're not going to play you. Just move on. We're good.
Just please.
Yeah. Not even 650 games to his career. That's all you need to know. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is the product of his style of play. If you're going to go that hard to the basket, you're going to accrue injuries. And that's why you need to develop a jumper. That's why you need to develop a three, to take the pressure off of you. You can't just be dribble kick all the time or dribble drive. You're going to take a beating. And he took a beating. Now, ultimately, he was compensated very well for the beating he took. So I'm not going to sit here and, wax poetically about what could have been for John Wall. He did all right for himself. John Wall did okay for himself. He was on the 2016-17 All-NBA team. He was on the All-Rookie team.
75th anniversary team.
Take a drink. But he, like many before him and probably many after him, will be in the what could have been more so than the what was. If there was a hall of wasted potential or the hall of hypothetical, John Wall would definitely be a first ballot, along with Bradley Beal, for that matter. But good luck in retirement, John, and we wish you nothing but health.
You can't help but just smile when you see a balloon. PopstarsBalloons.com offers spectacular balloon decor for all of life's events, specializing in custom balloon creations and installations for private events, corporate and school functions, photo shoots, brand events, and fundraisers. Led by certified balloon artists, the Popstars Balloon team shape balloons into custom works of art. Popstar Balloons provides full concept balloon design, build and installation services, as well as pre-assembled decor pieces available for pickup or delivery. Popstar Balloons is a woman-owned, small family business focused on providing professional balloon services using only high-quality, 100% biodegradable natural latex balloons made in the US and Italy. They consistently prioritize the safest use and handling of balloons in a sustainable and responsible manner. Popstars Balloons is located in Westchester County, New York, but likes to party at events throughout New York City, Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey. Popstars Balloons can also accommodate balloon decor services for destination events. No event too big, no event too small, and their custom personalization service is the perfect touch. They also offer a full line of event decor options like backdrop, prop rentals, tablescapes, dessert table setups, custom signs, and they always deliver with a smile. Whether you're looking for gift balloons, classic decor, or large-scale design for a big impact, Popstars Balloons will create the perfect decor for your theme, vibe, and space. So if you have an idea in mind or need inspiration, Popstars Balloons decor will be the cutting edge and spectacular. Visit popstarballoons.com to pop your next event.
Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debunk this week's most controversial topics right
All right, boys and girls, we have a statement. It's either bullshit or no shit. Let's get to it. Bullshit or no shit. Number one, Joe Mixon missing the first 4 games of the season will sink the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I think it's no shit. I think people are underestimating how important Joe Mixon was to their success and how good he is. I think behind him is probably Nick Chubb. I don't even know who the third running back would be. I mean, I would expect them to pass a lot more this year, but that just means Nico Collins is going to get hurt. They don't have Tank Dell. So I think this is going to be problematic for Houston, but I still think they end up on top.
I'm going to go bullshit on this one. Yes, they have the passing game to kind of overcome this, but their running game is still pretty good without Joe Mixon. Nick Chubb is not going to be your everyday back, right? He's not going to be your every down back. I think at this point he's definitely a handcuff. But you're looking at Dameon Pierce as his backup, and Dameon Pierce was a starter in this league for a couple of years before Joe Mixon got there, and he was pretty decent. So is it going to sink the team? No. Is it going to be awe-inspiring? Also no. But it's going to be enough, like you said, to kind of fend off the challengers, because that division is weak, and this team is still really good, because now you have Collins, Kirk, Higgins, and Schultz. You have a pretty good passing attack there to kind of cover up. So if you're just going to jab with your running game and then take shots, I think you can survive. So bullshit for me. Bullshit or no shit. Number 2, WWE Unreal on Netflix is good for professional wrestling.
I'm going to say bullshit on this. I think they're playing with fire. I think part of the fun of watching professional wrestling is buying into the stories and buying into the grandeur and pretending like you don't know what's going to happen. When you show the other side of the curtain and you show how they talk about matches and how they talk about pushing guys and how they develop storylines, it ruins the fantasy for it. So in my situation, I don't really watch wrestling as much as I used to. So for me, watching this, it's interesting to see how it all works, and it's interesting to see how it all plays out. I don't think I'll be a consistent watcher, when they come out with new episodes next year. But as a wrestling fan and as a person, if I was watching it every day, I could see how this could be a big turnoff for me.
I'm going to go bullshit on this one too. I do appreciate the fact that they do pull the curtain back and show how wrestlers are people too. Wrestlers deal with these nagging injuries and how they have to, you know, the lengths they go to in order to make sure that they can perform. That being said, the staged aspect of it, the feeling that everybody knows that the camera is on them at all times and performs accordingly, the kowtowing to Triple H in the production meetings, the berating of Abyss, Chris Park, by Bruce Pritchard, the passive-aggressive nature in which he did it. And it kind of underscores the political climate in WWE. And is that something necessarily that I want to watch as a fan? Is that something necessarily that I'm interested in? Not really. Not when you're going to fake it. Not
right.
when you're...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
It's performative. If you're going to make it performative, then, you know, what are we doing here? Like, the whole point of this is that it's supposed to be unreal. Right? It's supposed to be, you know, giving a little bit of insight. Like the whole Cody Rhodes thing and Kevin Owens thing, where they were discussing about how they blew a spot, I think, at the Royal Rumble. It's like, okay, like, stuff happens, but is that something that a fan really needs? Like, is that something that they really need
or want? And when does it? Yeah, when does it get tiring? Like, how much are you scripting this? Like,
right.
You've made it. I never felt like when I went to SummerSlam or when I went to Raw or when I went to SmackDown, I felt like I was going to see wrestling matches.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was going to go see a show, a production. And that's what he's pretty much doing. He's saying, you know, it's all a show. Have a good show. This is a show. And then it's just like, well, all right, I guess, but now it's like, well, where's the competitive nature of this?
Right.
You know, where is, like, if I'm rooting for Cody Rhodes, but you're trying to push John Cena because this is his last year, and regardless of how much someone likes Cody Rhodes or how much someone likes John Cena, the better story is for John Cena to win tonight and win for the next 10 months until he leaves. That doesn't really sit well with me. At least it wouldn't have sat well with the 1998-1999 version of me, who watched it religiously and was going to bat for The Rock because that was my guy. And when he fought against Stone Cold Steve Austin, I wasn't reading into, well, you know, Rock's about to go do this movie, so he's probably going to drop the belt tonight, and then he'll be back when the movie's over. And no, I want Rock to win, and I'm watching this because I want to see Rock win, and that's what I want, right? And I'm not thinking about the grandeur or the showmanship, or even all those times we saw, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin fight Mick Foley and Dude Love and Mankind. We all knew that, you know, and he really didn't stand a chance, but it was like, well, I expect Stone Cold to whoop his ass. And then, you know, when Vince would screw him, or when Dude Love would cheat, or when Mankind would, you know, come up on top, you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know, so I don't know. To me, you can't go back now.
No.
You've taken this curtain off, and you can't go back. And I think you're fighting, you're playing with fire right now. You really are. I think I understand why he did it, and I do think he gained an audience by doing it, but I think you're going to lose people in the long run because of it.
Well, it's the same argument that Jim Cornette makes weekly on his podcast, which is phenomenal. If you guys don't listen to the Cornette Experience, definitely listen to it. He really goes into it because AEW, Tony Khan, it's all a spectacle. It's all a show. None of it is real. You're in on the joke. Isn't this great? This is all bullshit. It's a great trampoline act. I can go do this at Sky Zone. While the athleticism is impressive, the suspension of disbelief is long gone. You know it's cooperative. You know it's performative. So how is this any different from Cirque du Soleil at this point?
Right.
What makes it...
Or a Broadway show.
Right. What makes this any different? Nothing. So I think that as this continues to go on, the diehards will defend it. The smart marks will defend it. The internet wrestling fans will defend it because they won. It's kind of like analytics in baseball. The numbers people won. And what's happening there? The whole of the game has changed to the point where it is fundamentally different than what it used to be. And that created a culture war within sports fans. Same here. You have people who want to see their wrestling, for the lack of a better term. Like, you were a WWE guy, like I was more of a WCW guy. They presented a more athletic, a more sports-based product. Wins and losses mattered. They had a top 10 ranking system. You had, different weight classes that you can fight for. You had something a little bit more akin to boxing. Yeah, and we know boxing's fake as shit too. Boxing's predetermined too.
Right. So that's that, and that's the other thing. It's like you're going down that road. So it's more of like, okay, I'm not gonna hurt you. You're not gonna hurt me. And we're gonna make a lot of money, right? And that's what it is. And that's the whole gimmick now. And
yeah.
you wonder if any other sports are going to look at this model and say, this works. Like, we can control the outcomes of these games. I mean, you think about what the NFL is doing now with the chip in the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That gives them supreme power on making first downs or not first downs. There's no chain gang to validate this thing.
Right.
We're all going to look at the chip in the ball and just take that for it being right or wrong. I've always said this, the NBA has the biggest control over their product because they have referees that get it wrong. They can make 4 minutes left in the game be 30 minutes left in the game, an hour left in the game, because they're controlling the whistle. Be interested to see what happens with baseball now if they move to robo-umps, because if they do, you're losing that control. You're losing that bad call. You're losing that ability to keep this thing going. So I just don't know. I mean, for me, like I said, it just... I've only watched 4 episodes, so I think I have 1 more left. I find it intriguing. I'm not a person that watches wrestling anymore, and I just think about what it was like maybe 10 or 20 years ago when they were having these conversations. But for me, he's eliminated me ever watching wrestling again. If that makes any sense. Like, I would never... I mean, if my kids want to watch it, I'll let them watch it. But I'm never going to sit down and watch wrestling again after watching how this gets done. You have The Rock, who is a movie star, or, whatever else he's doing in his career. He runs a football league and all this other stuff. He's coming in and talking to Triple H about Cody Rhodes selling his soul, and he's talking about how he's the final boss and you're gonna do this for me and you're one of my guys. And it's just like, you are in control of the world wrestling entertainment, and you're bringing in The Rock to talk about your product and how you're gonna move forward. I mean, I wonder how Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and all those guys feel about that. That's gotta rub them the wrong way.
At the end of the day, they're all owned by TKO. It's all a fully owned subsidiary of TKO, just like the UFC is. So everybody's got a handful of fucking money at this point. So especially now that the UFC has negotiated that huge media rights deal, you have a lot of stuff coming. And with them, there's even less incentive for them to put on a good show. There's even less incentive for the UFC to put on a big marquee fight, because they got the money. They already got it. WWE ran unchecked for what? 17 years, 18 years when WCW folded, 19 years. TNA doesn't really count. Like, TNA never really challenged WWE, and they knew it. They knew it. And what they do? Diddly dick. It was the most boring, uninspired product that you could put out there. Now, they have competition. The problem is that both organizations are racing to pull back the curtain. They're racing to let you in on the fact that everything that you enjoy is fake. It's not real. It's not, you're just a part of the show and just enjoy the show. Well, that's for some of us who grew up in the heyday of wrestling, whether it was the 80s or the 90s, that's not good enough. Some of us still want to have that little bit of edge, that little bit of animosity, that little bit of kayfabe. We want to suspend disbelief. And that basically laughing in the face of the person who wants to suspend disbelief and who wants to enjoy the show from that perspective, you're alienating them. So ultimately, the people who like it are going to like it. The people who don't like it are not going to like it. And the next wrestling boom period, I can't see one coming anytime soon.
Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their graphic tees, hoodies, snapbacks, accessories, and more. Go to fckclout.com today and check out current season and past season merchandise for men and women. Get it while you can. That's fckclout.com. Check them out today. fckclout.com. Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
Alright, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said show, vote gets a shout in this here show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, D?
I don't.
That would be one Victor Robles.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be chucking a bat at somebody. But it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. He got suspended, and then, oh, your time's up, activated off IL. So doesn't even serve the suspension. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
Alright, so first up, I've got, well, he's the Vegas quarterback now, Kenny Pickett. You were traded from the Steelers to the Browns, now traded from the Browns to Las Vegas. You were beat out by Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. You, my friend, are entering Josh Rosenland.
Oof.
Kenny Pickett, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, Anthony Volpe, hitting .208 and leading the league in errors. Coach Boone sat you down on Sunday and on Monday, so you could see how the team can win without you. Anthony Volpe, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. And last but not least, I'm going to say Zack Wheeler. Zach, you're having such a good season. You're doing so well. We're talking Cy Young. The Phillies were doing so good. And now you're hurt. And now you're done for this season, most likely. And might be done for the rest of your career. Zack Wheeler, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. What do you got, Z?
That's a tough one right there. That's a tough one. I'm going to start with the officials for the Vancouver Whitecaps St. Louis City SC matchup over the weekend in MLS. Phantom penalty call against St. Louis, leading to the game's only goal. Now, no big deal, right? These things happen all the time. Here's the thing. It was so blatantly obvious that the Whitecaps player tripped over their own 2 feet. There was no one near, nobody in red, anywhere near the Vancouver player. But we can't overturn that on VAR. It went to VAR and it was upheld. I would like to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. Guys, dude tripped over his own 2 feet. Fuck it, it's Thomas Muller on that side. We have to have the goal. We have to have this. We're not going to overturn it. What? Okay then. Stuff like this just goes back and underscores what we were talking about before. How leagues can ultimately decide who and when teams win. They have the power. Officials from St. Louis, Vancouver, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Wilson Contreras. Ooh, that was bad. So, suspended for 6 games, fined an undisclosed amount for going off on umps in the Cardinals' 7-6 win over the Pirates. They won. They did win. Allegedly, he was talking shit to umpire Derek Thomas. There's that guy again. He was having a really bad day. So, allegedly, there was a profane rant. Contreras threw a bat and mistakenly hit his hitting coach with it. No, instead of Derek Thomas having the bad day, Wilson Contreras had the bad day. Wilson Contreras, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, lest we forget, the New York Yankees lost 3 out of 4 to the Boston Red Sox, got humbled and embarrassed on Saturday, 12-1. Anthony Volpe chucked another one into the stands. And
look out!
Heads up! And just a pathetic, lackluster performance that even Yankee announcers couldn't ignore. That was the most honest I've heard Michael Kay in quite a while about the Yankee performance.
That guy is the worst.
Yeah. Not doing the game this week. Apparently he doesn't do Yankee home games against, the Washington Nationals. So, Ryan Ruocco tonight. How do we get his gig? You're the voice of the Yankees when I feel like it.
Huh.
New York Yankees, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ. Go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast and vote. And vote and vote and vote. And for our nominees.
You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.